Hello guys, welcome to Daddy Share Space and welcome to my channel. So here I have my Festool CS50 table saw set up, and I got a quick question about whether the saw blade that comes with the saw is, if there's any difference between that and using the ripping blade. Now I know I did a video similar to this in the past, so I'm just going to run through it real quick just to see how I feel. Now I've got some pieces of wood like this here. These actually were pieces of wood from the fence that I built outside. I called it the irrigation fence. It was simply put up so that water didn't go over onto the neighbor's yard when I was trying to grow grass seed or whatever, because they were pretty sensitive to the water going over there. So anyways, after the grass grew in as much as it was going to, overall it was pretty much a failed experiment because there's tons of weeds out there now. So I ended up taking that fence down, and that's one thing I like about working with wood, is the fact that you can just recycle the material and do something else with it. So in my previous video I showed the Rotex 90 sanding the stain off of the wood. Let me see if I have a piece here. This is a piece here that I have, and but as I show, or as I talk about whether the ripping blade is significantly better than the stock blade, I'm just going to kind of explain what I'm doing here. So I've got a bunch of pieces of wood like this that I want to turn into, I was thinking about turning it into a tabletop. However, we had a printer, we homeschool, and we had this printer that we used for years, and about probably over 10 years, and it's finally given up the ghost, or at least it's broken down right now. So after a little bit of research, my wife decided she wanted to get a laser printer, so we purchased a laser printer, and the one that we have is significantly bigger than the older printer that we have. So she's asking me if I will build a stand for it. So I think I'm just going to repurpose this wood here and make a tabletop for it, and then probably just use my 2x lumber technique to make the bottom base for it, just as a temporary stand for now. And the criteria that I have for it is that I want it to be able to roll through her doorway if she needs to move it about. Obviously I want it to be on casters so she could get behind it if she needs to do any kind of maintenance on the printer. As I mentioned before, the printer is significantly bigger than the previous printer that we have. I think it comes in at about 63 pounds or something like that. But anyways, so I'm trying to combine a couple things here. So let me just kind of explain what I did here. I don't know if you can notice, I have like a mark here, just kind of like a right angle. So what I did here on the table saw was, first I took my piece of wood and I placed it in here, and I went ahead and I did a cut to cut off one edge. Once I cut off that one edge, I took the edge that I cut, I put it on here on the saw. I made sure every piece would fit within this segment in this range here, and then I just, referencing the fence back here, I went through and I cut all the boards on the opposite side. That gave me this 90-degree corner over here, and I checked it with my woodpecker square just to make sure that this was 90 to this side here. And then after I did that, I went ahead and I took all of those same pieces of wood, and I took the long edge that I had ripped and I cut off all the boards like this. So in order to combine these video ideas, because I didn't record any of that work that I just talked about, this end obviously is rough, so I'm going to use this stock blade to rip the edges off for a couple of these, and then as I get through it a bit, I'm going to go ahead and switch the blade out, put it on the ripping blade, and then at the end I'll give you my opinion as to whether I think it's worth the upgrade to purchase. This right here is the how many tooth blade is this? This is the rip cut blade. That's what I know. So usually it has the amount of the teeth count on here. Might be 36 tooth. because I see a 36 on there. So anyway, so let's get started. Just before I get into it, one of the things that I realized, so over on this side of my shop, I have my CT48 vacuum, and I'm basically looping the dust collection back to here, and I can pair this Bluetooth to that, which is what I think I will do to save. I mean, I don't need to save battery power over there on that particular thing because it's AC. So, but I think if I need to pause in between cuts, if I need to say anything, I think that's what I'll do. So first and foremost, I'm going to turn on the saw here, and then we are going to pair it up. So I'll go over to my dust extractor, make sure it's on auto. I'm pushing the Bluetooth button now to pair, and then let's try turning this on. As you hear, it's paired up. So one of the benefits to using this Festool system. Let me get a little mask on, and then we'll get to cutting. All right, off we go. Now this right here isn't the greatest amount of reference place. Now it'd be nice if I had a way to kind of clamp this down to the table to hold it in place. So I'm trusting that I'm able to hold the board basically flush against here, so that this will be a perfect rectangle when I get done in the end. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we've made 11 cuts with this particular blade. I did feel a little bit of drag, you know, when I was pushing kind of forcefully. I did feel a little bit of resistance in the saw. However, when I moderated my advancement of the wood, it cut perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and take the batteries out and change the blade. Actually, let's put it in blade change position first. And the label typically faces towards the fence side. All right, let's go ahead and put the batteries back in the saw. Power it up. So every time you change the blade, it gives you the opportunity to recalibrate the blade. So I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, let's get back to cutting and let's see how this feels by comparison. Something that I think I should touch on with this particular, with the Festool system, as you can see, the dust collection didn't come on, and that's because I changed the batteries. Whenever you change the batteries, you have to repair the device. Alright, so these are the cuts that I made that I used to make a tabletop. And long and the short of it is, I definitely felt a difference using the rip blade by comparison to the crosscut blade. So if you do have the money to buy the ripping blade, I highly suggest getting it. You can make the cuts with the blade that comes with the saw. However, it's just a little bit smoother when you use the rip cut blade. So the cut with the ripping blade was smoother, and as a result, I felt myself trying to push the saw faster or trying to push the material faster, which gave me similar drag as to what I was feeling with the included blade. And so basically taking your time with the saw and not rushing through cuts, you can get away with the installed blade. However, you can notice the difference when you're using the ripping blade. So, I mean, for myself personally, if I had the money, I would get the ripping blade because it seems like it makes the saw work less by using the appropriate blade, though it can cut with either blade. Hopefully that kind of explains it. As I said, you know, as soon as I started cutting, I definitely felt a difference in the performance of the blade saw combination. And so I felt myself going to push faster, and then I got a very similar drag as to what I got when I was trying to push the regular blade. The difference is the regular blade, I wasn't pushing it as aggressively as I was the ripping blade. There seemed to be an increase in the performance between the, I don't know if this is a 42 tooth blade or, yeah, this is the 42 tooth blade. The 36 tooth blade actually just really opens things up a bit and makes it a lot better cut. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for taking time to watch this short video, and I'll see you in my next one.